Hey guys, Rexasaur here, and welcome to part 8 of The Red Emperor. This is a very special episode because I've tried to get as many guest narrators as possible. So when we left off, our Emperor Toftavilis, he had started moving his way towards Finland to try and do some holy wars to take on Satakunta and Karelia. In addition to this, Carpathia is Catholic and is asking us for help, which is fantastic. But the first thing that Toftavilis is going to do is going to declare a holy war on Karelia, which leads to some tension within the realm.
Your ignorance will be the downfall of your empire. You send men to die in the lands that do not belong to you, and you expect us, the priests and priestesses, to raise our hands in the air and call upon the gods to aid you. I cannot follow you anymore. You may be my emperor, but you are no longer my blood.
So there are tensions within the holy sect of the Slavic Empire. Saul is not happy with the way that the country is being run, indeed nor are the peasants, who decide to have a nice little revolt at this stage. So what Toftavilis is going to do is that he's going to take his eastern armies, unite them and attack the rebels there, and unite all his western armies together to march on Finland. Once the rebels have been dispatched very, very cleanly, very quickly, he's going to send off, he's also going to build a hedge maze, gets a little event just like Sivin Budas did, his great-grandfather did, which is awesome. Let's get Digens, and then attacks Karelia. A very easy battle to fight, showing that Perkunas is on his side, much to the chagrin of the religious sects.
I can see the wisdom of your words, priestess, as can we all. But we must be careful not to let that wisdom blind us to a second, greater truth, that when words are over, it is the Norsemen who hold an axe to our neck, not the Catholics. Now have no doubt, the Catholics will have their time to die by our hands, by my hands. But ask yourself this: which empire will be able to resist the tide of Christian corruption? The strong, united empire with a single focus and unity of mind? Or the empire with its shield turned aside to defend against enemies threatening to strike to the core of their strength? In your desires to please the gods, you have argued against me with good intentions, but you lack the foresight to see that the gods are best served by making sure that when the fateful time comes and the Catholics test us with their words and warriors, we shall have every man of the empire at hand for the single purpose of putting their fool's faith to an end. Neither the gods nor history will remember the people that struggled without unity, waiting for their problems to go away. I have long listened to your counsel, long considered the merits of my own ideas against yours, and finally, through learning all I can from this, I have stood on your shoulders to see a greater path to glory. And mark my words, I will not be convinced otherwise. Even if you remain ignorant to the wisdom I cultivate, remember clearly that there is only one emperor, and that it is by my grace and the grace of my father that you are here at all. If you wish to call yourself good people, you must remember that loyalty is the least you owe to me. Now, High Priestess, I trust you will rise to speak again, this time in support of your Emperor.
So, Toftavilis has had to have a word with his religious leaders, and especially towards Sal, who is, not best pleased with the way that the country's been run, nor is this noble, who wants to lower crown authority in the Kingdom of Lithuania. Now, at the time, I thought that it was in the whole empire, and I was kind of baiting, like, oh, fine, I'll just give in for now. But it was, in fact, just the Kingdom of Lithuania, so it doesn't actually affect us that much. So we're going to carry on with our holy war. It's all going pretty dandily. We're going to remove Saul as our diviner to get someone better who can convert our provinces much quicker. As you can see, our allies also in Karelia aren't doing too well, but we are still managing to succeed. However, they do have a rather large army going down towards us, which could be and will be a pain later on. However, my province, my diviner, has in fact managed to convert my province. Now, what's happened is that because of the other holy wars in Estonia last episode, I now have a lot of provinces who aren't of my religion, so I need to convert them before I can get the total levies. I can actually, if all my provinces were of the Romovan religion, could raise about 2,500, 3,000 men straight away, but right now I can only raid about 1,700, which is not a lot. We also lose this battle at Kem, which is a very big blow towards us. And as I'm in the religious map mode, just looking around, I then look down, it's like, oh, the Tengris are big. Oh god, no. Catholicism has spread all over Khazaria now. This is terrible news. This basically shows and proves Sal right, that the Catholic religion is spreading faster and more reactively than ever before, and can be a really big problem later on. Also, the Kingdom of Jylland in Denmark has taken over a very big portion of the Nordic kingdoms and of Finland. Basically, this could be a very big problem. However, we're just going to focus on our holy war for now, but it will lead in a conflict in the future, because now there is no longer a Satakunta which I can take. I'm going to have to wage war on Jylland or Osterbotten, as you can see there. But we win our holy war, we take a lot of land, we're going to get rid of all our levies, give that away to one of our courtiers. But now Jylland is our big nemesis. The Norse have risen to Finland, and this is basically now proving the counterpoint. The Catholics may be a problem, but the Norse are expanding nevertheless. Also, we can see Carpathia has once again just appeared. For some reason, Khazaria and Carpathia just don't want to be the same. They always want to change. We also get ourselves legalism up, which means we can extend our crown authority to high crown authority, which is fantastic. And we're now going to declare conquest on both Savo and Häme, just to increase our land holdings in Finland.
They never stop. The Slavic armies just keep coming. They seem never tired of war. What can we do against such an onslaught? What can we do against the monster that is the Emperor? All he wants is blood for the land to be stained red with the corpses of his enemies. Help us, Yuko, Lord of the Skies. We cannot win without your divine aid. We cannot win against the Slavs. Please help us.
And whilst the Finnish nobles pray to their gods for divine aid, I'm going to raise all my levies and going to charge right in the fray. During this the problem with the Slavic Empire right now is that we're really big, which means it takes a long time to gather all of our men. Also, Saul dies. Saul, after leading our religious orders for God knows how many years, she has finally bitten the dust and has been replaced. This is a moment of sadness, but also, she was a big opposition to what was going on, and as we can see, getting ourselves high crown authority in the empire is showing that in fact she was quite a big opposition. She was probably one of the people who was most opposed to it, in fact. So we're going to carry on our war. We're going to take Savo quite quickly. These armies are going to keep trying to invade our newly acquired territories in Finland, but that's not too much of a problem. We also have some big problems in terms of factions. So Savo surrenders, which is great. So now we're just at war with Häme, and we're going to try and take that quickly, which won't be too much of a problem because they are very small counties indeed, and they don't have that many allies, which is great. And these wars will allow us to basically get ourselves towards declaring a holy war on Jylland, the first one against the proper Norse Nordic peoples, and will thus give us all of southern Finland, bar maybe the little part of Suomi who's left, but that won't be too much of a problem. We can conquest that later. So we win that war, we've got Häme. We're going to give both Savo and Häme to a completely different courtier. We're going to make one of them King of Finland when that happens. Maybe I'm going to keep it, maybe not. But here we have a very big problem. We have basically throughout this episode there's been this adventurer, this horde of people just in my capital raiding it. and they've just been there and I've been unable to do anything because I don't have enough troops to really deal with them. So they wage war on me finally for a petty little kingdom. Little duchy, sorry, on the part of Pomerania, and I can't even raise my holy order because they've already been raised by one of my vassals, which is really annoying because their vassal can't actually use that holy order for anything, so it doesn't actually matter that it's there, unless there's, I think it could maybe be a religious revolt, but I highly doubt it because that is part of my most remote parts of my country. So the host, being a right bastard, takes us out many times. Takes us out the first time, chases our armies down, so I have to let go of all of my troops, which is a big pain. Disband them all and then re-raise them all after a few in-game months. And that's just exactly what I'm going to do. I have to wait this one out because 4,000 troops is impossible to deal with, which is a shame. I mean, I could probably deal with it better if my realm was slightly better. As you can see, I do it now. What in fact I do is I unite my men down in my capital or next to my capital. And I also raise some mercenaries, thinking, oh, you know, I'm going to need that. But as you can see, the host is actually going to traverse a great river. Well, it's not a great river, it's just a big river. And that is, like, they do that and then attack us. I send the mercenaries along and I'm like, oh, okay. And we in fact defeat them without even needing the mercenaries. Which is just, okay, well, why did I hire the mercenaries anyway? Did you see him? Who? The Emperor. Toftavilus. That wasn't him, Gleb. That was Zivin Budas of Poland. No, I'm sure it was. And why? Why are you so sure the Slavic Emperor himself would be on the battlefield? I saw his crown, his golden jewels around a plate of iron, the crest of Palemonatis on his shield. Zivin Budas is also a Palemonatis. Is he? Gleb, you're a plonk. I guess now we leave, and hope that no one will rat us out. I don't want to end up in jail again. So reports of the Emperor on the battlefields leads that a lot of men are kind of fearing him. So I look around at this point and I'm happy to note that Norway is Catholic, which means they will not be joining Jylland in terms of religious aid. However, it turns out that they're actually brothers, so they're going to join anyway. But we're going to declare a holy war for Finland against the Germanic host. There is not that many Nordic religion or Germanic religion people left. In fact, I would like to note that the Removan faith has completely wiped out the Slavic faith, bar, I think, one province of Ruthenia, or Radomichi, as you can see. Yeah, Radomichi. They're the only fully Slavic nation left in the world, in Europe right now. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to unite my forces in two flanks. I have the Eastern Army and the Western Army. The Eastern Army is going to go for the holdings in Finland. They're going to go for the actual targets of the Holy War, whilst the Western one is going to go for the capitals of Jylland, and are basically going to take out the bits in Denmark, the bits where they own most of the provinces, and we're going to do some quick taking. However, the problem is, I didn't realize this, but Germanic also have the defensive bonus, or they just suck when it comes to supply, which means I'm going to be taking attrition in Jylland, whilst I'm not going to be taking attrition in Finland for some reason. So I think it is just really shitty attrition supply limits. But we managed to take the holdings in Finland without too much of a hassle. There is a army that is of equal standing to ours that the Jylland army basically owns, but they keep doing some sort of they keep taking Hame and then leaving to go north. I think they've got another war going on with Suomi, who's higher up, or I'm not 100% sure, which means I can very quickly take Hame back. So we're going to go for Satakunda, whilst also taking the parts in Jylland. I'm also going to raise a little bit more levies just to keep my troops bolstered. Also, as you can see, the army of Jylland doesn't actually want a close-pitched battle. This might be because of the rivers. I'm not 100% sure how the rivers work here. But it actually turns out that Jylland have another army. This is the army of Norway. I believe it's Norway. That has just sort of helped them along. So that's annoying, but they're there, and I can't really raise any mercenaries, but I can raise the Holy Order, which is something I'm going to do. It's going to cost a lot of money, but using the Holy Order is going to allow us to win, basically. We're going to keep rising up through Jylland, and then the armies, we're going to change, firstly, our commanders, and the Nordic army is going to attack us in Hame, in our home province, which I think is going to be one of the closest battles that I've fought in this campaign so far. In fact, my Holy Order is on its way, but I'm not actually going to need the Holy Order. The Holy Order is just going to be there too late, but we're going to win this battle anyway, which is somewhat insane.
What can man do against them? How can we, mere mortal men, stand up to the fury of the Emperor? Clad in red, the blood of the Norsk. We killed them. All of them. Didn't even need their warriors of Bogunas to succeed. Our realm would fall, then the Norge would fall, then the Saxons and the Germans and the French. They will never stop. He will never stop. The Slavic Emperor will march his armies across the land, slaying all who stand in his way, destroying the holy temples, pillaging our homes and castles, setting the unholy fire on our ships. Stories once spoke of the apocalypse, of a rider on a horse of darkness. Those stories are lies. This is the true apocalypse. A red emperor and his unholy army who will only stop once the rivers run red with blood.
So the tales of the apocalypse have come. The Red Emperor sitting on the Slavic throne of Lithuania is basically waging a massive religious war against everyone, really. The Finnish could not hold. The Norse don't seem to be able to hold either. Maybe the Catholics will have more luck, but the Nordic kings do not think so. Jylland is taking a lot of death. The warriors of Palemonatis, our Holy Order, are going to go north. They're going to take Osterbotten and Dalax as well, slightly higher, whilst our army is going to push into Sweden. We've also moved our Holy Order back down south to deal with a very small army that was being rude, and we're going to move them across to Sweden. So we're going to lose this first battle in Uppland. They're going to push us out of Sweden, but we're just going to retreat to the island, which is going to be very good. Also, our Holy Order is going to get there before everyone, which means that they're going to have to fight a defensive battle. Well, I mean, we're defending, which is great, because that means we basically completely wipe them out on the island. Managed to push into Sweden and get ourselves 100%. We've taken Finland. We've shown our superiority. The Red Emperor has been named. Toftavilis is that person. He is going to see the Slavic Empire as the greatest empire ever. In the next episode, we're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep going forward and try and obtain more lands, try and obtain and take out Jylland once and for all, maybe forming the Kingdom of Poland, maybe taking Norway. Find out next time on the Red Emperor. The first mention of Toftavilis as Red Emperor was during the First War against the Nordic Kingdom of Jylland, in a letter to his cousin, the King of Norway. The death of Saul in 875 AD meant that Toftavilis no longer had any opposition, and as such could follow his agenda to take Finland. It wasn't long before he declared war on the aggressive Norse in the country, and it was after the Battle of Hame that the bloodthirst of the Emperor was first pointed out. There was no doubt that once he heard of this, Toftavilis used his name to his advantage. Toftavilis, the bringer of blood, the sword of Gabja, the Red Emperor.